starting early. Like some people, we start late. I'm starting early. So what's everybody up to? Not that there's anybody here, because there's nobody here. You are now live on YouTube. I'm hoping what I can do is there's anybody here, because there's nobody here. Watch it. Turn the sound off. And watch it in the chat on this, and then I don't need it on here. I'll keep it there. Now I don't have to have as many windows on my computer. Now a really cool thing, totally off the wall, but I found this the other day. I knew about this on the Macs. I think PCs can actually do it too. You can get the little app to do it. But there's what they call dynamic desktop imaging. And what it is it moves with the day. It changes. So you can, like, the stock Mac one is, the stock Mac dynamic is, there's one of Yellowstone, I think, where the mountain, turns dark and the skies fills up with stars, and then the sun comes up and it's actual images, but it's the same image. It's just a 24-hour loop. I think it updates every 10 minutes or something. But you can also link it to the International Space Station. So my desktop looks like this. And this moves. It changes all day long. I'm pretty sure it's like every 10 minutes a new image pops up. Excuse me. Matter of fact, I can get rid of these. And I can get rid of the bunny because I already printed the bunny. And I'm sneezing again. Excuse me. And let us empty the trash. Yes, I would like to empty the trash. So yeah, I get this cool dynamic desktop all the time, and it's always changing. Earlier today, it was like, I don't know, over Europe or something. I think, I don't know, but it's showing like the continents. I was almost like staring at it for half an hour, just checking it out. It's pretty cool. And you can actually go 4K. Obviously, my TV/computer don't do 4K. This is actually a new TV, which you're not seeing. You're just seeing a representation of the desktop. But I had to get a new TV because my old TV/monitor didn't die, but it getting wonky. It had like shadows and stuff over in this corner here. It was getting weird. Like, it only showed when it was really black. Like this right here would show it. And it was just like a weird shadow, and it really got irritating, especially when I'm like modeling. Fusion 360 shows it really bad. The other thing is watching TV and stuff. It wasn't terrible, but it was driving me nuts. So I went to Best Buy and bought their name brand insignia or whatever they call it. Um, Basically the cheapest TV I could get. That was the same size. It's actually smaller. The other one was a 41 or a 42, and this is a 39-inch television. So yeah, I'm over it. It's not terrible. The image isn't as clean. It's not bad. I think the colors are actually more accurate. Not as sharp. And I can sharpen it. I actually have it fogged. I can sharpen it, but it gets very jaggy, both in the television and in the computer. But terrible in the computer, so I actually have it kind of blurred just slightly, so it actually looks better blurred. If that makes sense. Which I don't think it shows on that. Anyway, pretty cool. So there is that. And then other stuff. Stuff. Other stuff. There's still nobody here. Oh, it is Tuesday night. I don't think there's anything else, is there? I should check. Let's see. Live events. That's the chat. Nothing in there. Let's see. New window. New tab. That'll work. Just go to YouTube and see it. Hopefully, no one else is streaming. Because I'm streaming. Nobody else in my subscriptions is streaming, so. Design for manufacturing. Part 1 of 4. Yeah, I kind of want to watch that. Tanner was modeling a ripcord. He was tweeting that out. He used Idea Maker to slice the last piece. I don't know why. It's something probably because I suggested it. But I'm actually kind of leaning. I've been playing with. It's the most time I've had to myself in like a month. I still had to go visit my father for a half an hour because he was calling on the phone. But where is it going? Oh, Prusa Slicer. New Prusa Slicer 2.0. I was playing with that pretty much all day today, on and off. Between doing laundry and working in the yard, and rebuilt my chainsaw and a few other things. I was, if you're on Twitter, you follow me at all, I was printing 3D bunnies, little bunnies, as just something to print that was fast and easy and cute, and I can give them away because I'm tired of hanging on to them. You can't see it, but I've gotten rid of like 99% of all my 3D prints that were hanging on all the shelves. I just can't have. I just need to get rid of it. Anyway, so there is that. Nobody else is YouTubing. I just realized I got 233 subscribers. Whoop-dee yay. I gotta actually start making some videos again. So I was supposed to have a day off from father sitting when my brother came down to Boston, from Boston, he had to do some legal crap for them anyways. He's their executor of the estate, which is a good thing. I didn't want it. So he was coming down to do all the paperwork. He came down and sat with my father and my mother most of the day. And just after we left, my father called. Like, get me out of here, because he's in a rehab place where he's supposed to be exercising to get his legs back, and he hates it, and his mind's a little muddled because of the drugs they're giving him. Long story short, so I ended up going there anyways, even though I was supposed to have today off from dealing with all of that. But that's life. But on the way home, I wanted a rum and coke, so I got this little bottle of rum at the little package store. There's a wine shop between here and there. There's no actual. I mean, I could have gone the other direction and gone to a regular. Anyways, it was out of rum, and the wine emporium sells wine. They don't really sell liquors and alcohols. He's got a very little, but this is one of the rums he's got. And I bought it, and I'm driving home thinking, don't I have a bottle of this somewhere already? I think I bought one of these like a year ago. So I came home and searched around, and lo and behold, I had bought one a while ago. Same stuff. Very bizarre rum that I don't even remember if it's any good or not. I really like the, I want to say Barbasol, the Barbados rum. I can't think of the name of it that I normally drink. Anyway, I'm out of it. And he doesn't carry it because literally he's got like 2 bottles of Absolute vodka, 2 or 3 bottles of regular rum. What's up, Paul? What's up, Carl? So anyway, I bought a bottle and I have a little bit left. It's a very small bottle. So I'm going to have me a rum and Coke with rum that I don't even remember if it's any good or not. I think it is. It's got a cork. Smells good. Rum and Coke. And to top it off, I'm not sure when. I'm thinking 90s. I went to a Dave and Buster's in Boston when they first opened, or not Boston, in Providence. Me and a girl I was sort of dating, I guess you could say. She took me there because that's where she went to college. And we went to visit some of her friends, and we went to Dave and Buster's for dinner and played some games, blah, blah, blah. And I bought shot glasses and 2 rocks glasses. We're talking, I think it was late 90s, early 2000s. I think it was 90s. Can't remember exactly. Anyways, I was going through / cleaning up stuff in my garage, going through all my stuff that I brought back from Long Island, which I've been back almost 10 years. Stuff in the boxes. I found there was 2 of these. I had a set. I got the shot glasses still. They were up there. But one of these was broken. The other one's fine, so I had like crap in it from dust from sitting out in the garage. But I cleaned it out and soaked it in hot water for an hour and scrubbed the crap out of it. And now I'm going to have a rum and Coke out of it. What are you fighting with? Which printer are you fighting with now? The big long printer? I'm not really working on anything myself. I did get the MaxMicron up and running again today. I was having lots of problems, and I thought it was the INZ board. Every movement on the X was loud, like screaming loud. Particularly and it's still not great, but particularly in travel. And I forgot in the firmware, there was actually 2 things. In the firmware, I had Stealth Chop on, but I had the setting where if it gets going so fast, it'll shut Stealth Chop off and go into normal movement mode. I can't remember what the hell they call it, but I had that set at like 75 millimeters a second, which it's slow even for me and in travel. Every time I traveled, it sounded like the thing was grinding. Yeah, I have that trouble too with my duet, with that thing. I'll tell you what, dude, the more I play with other boards, I mean, to be honest, I was never the biggest fan of the duet. For one, 32-bit, I mean, it's just not necessary. Everyone thinks it's the latest, greatest thing, and it is the latest, greatest thing. And if you're doing a Delta, you need it. Or it's just not needed. Most printers don't need it. The only reason you need it if you want every stupid little gizmo-y feature in the world on it. Yeah, mine bobs. That bobs on retraction. It actually doesn't bob on retraction. It bobs on reset. And the thing is I've done and I've gotten it sort of go away. What's up, Rob? I've sort of gotten it to go away, Carl, but only when I'm printing big things because I put a negative number in the retraction restart. So if you have like a 10 millimeter retraction, say, I'm over exaggerating because I don't have anything, even that thing I don't have 10 millimeters on. But if I do like a 10 millimeter retraction, I only bring back 9 so that 1 millimeter of filament isn't, and it's just ooze and drip it's pushing out. And that helps a lot. The thing about it is, if you do anything with like peaks, like if you were to do the little castles with all spires, it would not print because it's not even doing a full millimeter of printing, so it never reloads the nozzle fully. So it's one of those you can only use it if you're only doing big flat surfaces. Yeah, exactly. You start to under extrude if you have too many consecutive retractions. I've gotten that better. I actually I can't remember what I have it set at. It's not terrible. Printer, current printer. Come on. Lamacore. Actually. Screen share. Share. Oh, let's see. Slice, manage templates. If I go to my base, edit, advanced. I think I turned it all off. More retraction. I only have a minimal, a 3 millimeter retraction. I have found turning coasting off makes it go away, and using this wipe helps. And again, I've got that massive Bowden tomb in it, and I'm only using 3 millimeters of retraction. Spread cycle mode is like stealth mode. It's kind of halfway in between. Um, I don't think spread cycle works on the duet though, does it? I know it does on the like on my Einzy board. But spread cycle um spread cycle isn't as quiet as stealth chop, but it's pretty much a Merlin thing, if I remember correctly. I don't think there is stealth chop in the Einzies or spread cycle. It's like spread cycle is like halfway in between stealth chop and normal. It it runs for one. It runs the um, driver cooler. It doesn't use as much juice, but it's not as silent as stealth chop. But it has more power than stealth chop. Right? Kira has that. You got to open it up. Kira has coast and wipe. Turn the coast off and use a wipe. Are you getting the blob when it restarts, or are you getting the blob when it stops? Is it going eat, stop, retract, takes off, comes back, and then starts running? You get that wicked long pause before it moves. You're probably getting the blob at retraction instead of reload. Kind of have to watch it. Yeah, well, that's Marlon. He's talking about the duet, I think. Anyway, on the Marlin, I set it up with the Einsy board on the MaxMicron. I was getting wicked grinding. Part of it was that because I had it on stealth chop with the cap. I set the limit, the threshold, whatever, at like 75, which is way too low. I just reset it at 120, and also come to find out the plug on the motor, because these aren't hardwired motors, they got the little plug on them. The plug had been bent and it was loose. So as the unit was going back and forth, it was connecting and disconnecting. I turned off microstepping a long time ago. I saw no advantage to it, and it heated everything up more. The motors were twice as hot running. Anything above 16 steps was just pointless that I saw. I saw no improvements in the print at all. The only thing I saw was hot motors. My motors got screaming hot when I went to 32 or 64 or above. I mean, you can do what? I think you can do you can do 256 or 512. You can do 512 on the duet. Not sure. 256 at least. But I turned all that off. I went right back to 16 microstep. I was actually router. I've done both. We've been going back and forth. I was talking about stealth chop on the Einsy on my MaxMicron over here that you can't see, that I just got up and running again, because that was one of the things is I turned on that threshold with stealth chop, or I don't know, can't keep all those names straight. Not stealth chop. It's stealth chop is silent stepping is one, and stealth chop, I don't know. It was ahead in the middle one, which I still do, but I had the threshold too low, so it was making a loud racket every time it went to a travel. It was ridiculously loud. Yeah, 16 times is all I've ever said it at. To be honest, Carl, I've had better luck of all three of these right now. I have the Einsy board on the MaxMicron. I have the Duet on that, and I just put the MKS Gen L with the 2208s on the Frown King. And I gotta say, of the three boards, that Gen L is by and far the I'm not gonna say the best. It's the easiest one to deal with. Um, it's easy to set up. You don't have to do anything with the 2208s. You don't even have to touch the firmware, because the 2208s in native mode run off the 5899s or 5988s or whatever the hell the stock, the bottom of the line stock driver is. You don't even have to like turn on the TMC drivers. It runs just beautifully. It runs really good actually on the stock driver settings with Marlin. I should probably actually drink some of this, huh? Ooh. Not bad. I do like Mother Rum better, but that's not bad. I mean, that's weak anyways. Not making that strong. Yeah, I'm not. The geeky stuff I'm not great on either. I can build the frames all day long. Building the structure is easy for me. All the mechanics. Everyone's looking at the core XY and how I ran the belts and kept everything straight without twisting belts and everything. I was like, why would you twist belts? Well, you have to. No, you don't. You just run the belt. How could you not have played with Marlon? Marlon's been around longer than all of them. Oh, yeah, right. Because you always started with Da Vinci, switch over to Peter, huh? Rip Rap isn't that much different than Marlon, set up and look wise. There's just so much less to it. Marlon just has so much more. Just so much more. And it's more not because it has more features, it's because it has to cover more varieties of hardware. There's 60 or 70 different boards it covers, and where Rep Rap pretty much is just the duets now. Although Rep Rap, I've been wondering about trying Rep Rap on a regular, non-duet board. It should run on it. From what they say, it'll run pretty much on any board. Just you won't get the duet interface. That's duets. Not really Rep Rap. That's duet's own thing. I've never played a repeater, repetier, whatever you want to call it. I always call it repeater. Anyway, so I don't know if you guys have played with Slicer or Prusa Edition 2.0, which is no longer called Slick 3R, which it never was. It was always called Slicer. Crap. I really don't give a crap. I've been playing with it today, and I gotta say, in general, I'm liking it quite a bit. I have never gotten the MaxMicron to use Slicer ever. Every time I tried it, it did all right, but it never. I tweak and play and push, and I could never get a really good quality print out of it. Cura always smoked it, and Idea Maker was always a little better, and Simplify 3D was one thing I gotta say. Simplify 3D in general. If you even get close to your settings with Simplify 3D, you'll get a pretty looking print. My problem with is everyone thinks they're good and they're really not. They're structurally not sound. They fall apart. They crack easy because everything Slicer does, or Slick 3R, get the right one. Simplify 3D does is under extrude everything, and that's how they make the outer wall look pretty. It's because there's no swell. Everything is like 94% extrusion, so it gives it a nice, pretty outer wall. But structurally, it's actually weaker. And they don't do infill proper with Simplify 3D. Anyways, but I could never. It used to smoke Slicer. And I got 2.0 the other day, and I was playing with it a little bit, and then he released it, yesterday, finally? The full version. I had the beta. And I dabbled in it. I didn't really play with it much, but I got the MaxMicron going today, and I was using Prusa Slicer 2.0 today with it. I gotta say, it was printing damn good. There's a couple of little things I don't like, and I think Joseph hates me already because I posted on Twitter about it, about the fan speeds. I don't know if you've seen it, but the fan controls are they're odd. They just don't. I mean, now that I look at it and I've been playing with it, I guess it's okay. It makes sort of sense. I just don't get why it I much prefer Idea Maker's layout. I type in a layer and I say how fast I want it to go. I mean, it's that simple. Like with this. Here we go. I'll fire up Idea Maker and share my screen. Share. And if I go here and hit slice, manage templates, doesn't matter which one I take, edit, advanced is what I hate about freaking Idea Maker going through all this cooling. All I have to do is say at layer 20, I want a fan speed of 75. Add fan plate. Boom, done. It's that simple. And you can make it go up or down. So, like, I was printing the buddies. Actually, I'll show you. I can find them. What did I do? Oh, boy. Oh, there you go. Where's the other one? I'll show you in a minute, but because you're still looking at the screen. Where was I? Oh yeah. So you can change the fan points. So if you don't want the fan running constantly, which I would say 80% of the time I run the fan. I go up just like this. I go up to the third layer and put it on 100%. That's usually fine for PLA. But when I'm doing like PETDs and stuff, I really don't want the fan cranking unless it's like an overhang or bridging. And with this, I can set it, I can just go up the thing and say, okay, there's a overhang that's pretty heavy at layer such and such or height such and such, and I can boost the fan, and then when that overhang's gone, I can drop it back down again. Okay, but in Prusa Slicer, this is the one thing I do hate about Idea Maker's all these freaking stupid windows. With the Prusa Slicer, I gotta remember how all these parts, how they work. Print settings, filament settings, print settings, speeds. Where's the cooling on this thing? That's the other thing is like all this stuff is like sort of hidden. Info, sport material, output options, printer settings. Where the hell's the cooling? I can't remember where the hell it is. Cooling, right here. You can either fan always on, and then down here, this is weird, this whole fan always on up here, and then I gotta come down here and tell it what the maximum minimum speed is. But fan will always be at 100%. But if I make this at 70, it makes it always at 70. And I don't know why we even have a maximum speed if it won't let me. I can't. There's no. It's screwy. It's not. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. This whole cooling thresholds and stuff. It just doesn't. I mean, I get it. I get why it's there, and it's nice to have, but it shouldn't be the only option. I want to be able to adjust my fan speeds. Not that I do. I generally I don't. So it's not a deal breaker for me. I'm not gonna not use this slicer because of it. It just the whole setup and the whole interface area here just seems wrong. That makes sense. Does that make sense? Did that make any sense? The only thing I don't like is like if I adjust something here, layer height minimums, maximums. It makes no. If I adjust something here, I have to save it for just this. I can't adjust this and then come over here and adjust the print settings and then a print setting and go to my, and then hit save. I have to go back to each one of these 3 tabs and save each one of these 3 things individually, which kind of annoys me. And then it's this whole tab here and then all of these different things here and then tab here and all of these different things here. And this dependency thing is, I'm sure it's got a purpose, but your general, your G codes, your machine limits. I mean, this is kind of nice, the print settings like that. But it just, I don't know. It's better, and I actually I'm liking it. Part of it is I got to get used to this setup of interface. In a way, I'm kind of liking this better than the Idea Maker because I'm sick of the stupid windows that Idea Maker. I constantly have to say yes, no, yes, no. What's up, one Raz? But I wish this could just be like save all, or it's already saved. Like I know this is already saved, so I don't need to save it, but it'll save it again anyways. It just I don't know. Some of it seems quirky, but I'm nitpicking. I really am, because I gotta say it's pretty good. I've been getting um, really good prints out of it, and I'll show you now since I can stop sharing. This is the first one. This is what I mean about the fans. I don't know if you can see that under his. Get the focus on there. See underneath the chin there or on the bottom of the head? That's because I left it to their smart fan speed adjustment. So Prusa Slicer Edition has what they call a smart fan speed, where it will figure out when it needs to arc up the fan or not. It basically does it by lap times of the layer. The layers are really short. It will arc the fan speed up so it cools everything fast. Where if it's a really long layer, it keeps it slower because the plastic will, cool naturally. But it doesn't help with this. See, this is much better. It's almost near perfect. Bring it in and bring it out. It'll focus on it supposedly. But it's almost perfect. There's a little bit of issue there, but nothing like this one. And that's just keeping it on 100%. So that's what the fan thing's a little quirky to me. What's up, Matty Jake? Jakey Matt? Is it Jakey Matt or Matty Jake? I'm gonna go with Matty Jake. Jakey Matt. I kind of like Jakey Matt better. I'm gonna go with Jakey Matt. Somebody showing up at my neighbor's house. Driving in. It's not a bad room. It's not a great room, but it's not a bad room. It's better than like Bacardi. Not a big Bacardi fan. So, anyways, there is my quick 2 cents on Prusa Slicer Edition. And I've got to say, if you liked Prusa Slicer or Slick 3R or Prusa Edition before, you really should try 2.0. And if you didn't like it at all, like me, you should try it now because I'm really beginning to like it. I mean, I did not have to do much to get this. I mean, this is, other than that cooling under here, this came out like beautiful, and I did very little. I probably spent 15, 20 minutes doing the initial printer setup. The other odd thing is the wizard. He keeps pushing his printers first, which makes sense. I mean, it's his slicer, and that's how he's making his money. He has to, he's paying. Excuse me, something caught in my throat. He's putting out money to his engineers and designers and software crap. He's not making money off the slicer, so yeah, let's push his printers first. But be a wizard, you just keep going no, 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 and after he goes through all of his printers, it goes through like MKs, MK2s, MK3s, MK3S, and it's got like this whole list of printers. and you're supposed to like pick and choose which ones you have. And just keep going, no, 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 and eventually they'll come out and say, okay, you want to do a custom printer? It's like, yes. Wish it would just have right in the beginning, custom printer, click. But again, can't really complain about that. I mean, does have to pay for all this, and I'm sure designing, he's got to have some serious cash soaked into it. And he's giving it away for free, just like Kira and all those. I mean, Kira pushes their Ultimakers first. Idea Maker always pushes the Raise 3D printers first. This is just a little more pushy in the beginning, but I do like it. I'm liking it more and more as I play with it. It may be my go-to slicer because I'm kind of liking it better than the new Kira. I don't really like Kira 4. It still has, it's the only one that has the alternating shell feature. So I'll always have Kira for that because it prints the strongest prints of any. If you don't know what the alternating feature is in this Kira, you should investigate it and turn it on because it is, if you're doing structural prints and you use Kira's alternating infill, it'll make it 5-10 times stronger. It's amazing how much it makes it stronger. Yeah, I'm sure he is doing, but he's still putting out cash with no return for the slicer. You know what I mean? I didn't pay for the slicer. I didn't give him a penny, and I'm downloading his slicer for free. The slicer he's using is not an investment. It's 100% loss. Now it is good for him because he can super fine tune it for his printers. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong. If I had a Prusa printer, I would have used Slicer right from the beginning. Slicer PE, because he's got that thing fine tuned for his printers, even before this latest version. But this is definitely, I mean, I had some issues with Slicer before that are gone now. Don't ask me what they were. They just never. I never really liked Simplify 3D. Simplify 3D did two things really well. It made very, very pretty prints. They were not structural. They were actually not very good. People didn't realize they looked good, but they were not structurally sound. Also, Simplify 3D never did the top fill very well. It always left gaps. Like if you had a circle and it was doing the infill, there'd always be a massive triangle it wouldn't do, no matter what. And there was people that was like, oh, you can set this and you can set that. Yes, you could over extrude and fill the hole. The problem is you're over extruding through the whole model and it becomes a big blob. Everything you did in Simplify 3D to fix its problems screwed up more things than it fixed. Oh, I'm sure he's got investors. And I mean, the other thing is he's got the new slicer has a whole section for just the resin printer of his. So if you select his resin printer and you go in and you say, hey, when you go to the slicing and say, okay, I'm slicing for that printer, it like changes the whole interface for the resin printer. And it, has very, resin printer specific settings, which is nice. You can use one slicer to do both. Which, I mean, everyone was using Cura to do both. Cura will do both pretty easily. Cura is the most adaptable, I still think. Just because it's always been adaptable and everyone's been adapting it. Carl, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't come out with a belt printer of some type and start making slicer for a belt printer. I would not be surprised if you see a belt printer in a year or two from him. I bet he's going to do a box frame too pretty soon. That's his biggest downfall is everyone's buying like the CR10s and the 400 plus sized printers, and he just don't have one. And I'm sorry, the sliding bed that big, I'll take a box frame big over a swinging bed for large. Ah, boy. I should tear my PlayStation apart. I finally brought it in after about 6 months of riding around my van. I've been trying to get my PlayStation fixed, and everywhere I go, they're like, "Oh yeah, for $75, we'll take a look at it." And it's like, well, what happens if we can't fix it? Well, you still got to pay me the $75. I'm like, well, and I'm like, well, what do you think? Here's what it's doing. What do you think? And this is probably about $150, $200. It's like, well, that's like 2/3 of a new one. I might as well just buy a new one at that point. They're like, well, it could be just the drive, just replace the drive. I'm like, I know the drive's good. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pull the drive out and just make it a 1 gig drive or 1 terabyte drive for my computer, and just end up getting a new PlayStation if I get one at all. I may not even buy one. I can't afford one right now. No way in hell I'm buying one. But oh, I'm sure he'll be watching. You should talk to him. See if he would have bought into the whole thing. He could have just bought you right out. See, his problem is right now you're still relying on the black belt Cura, which he won't do. I can tell you right now, he wouldn't rely on the black belt just because black belt. I don't think black belt would. I don't think the licensing would allow it with black belt, will it? Even though it's still based on Cura, I think black belt still holds like a partial. Where like for you, it's okay because you're not actually selling units, even though they're going to sell kits. They're not going to sell the kit with the slicer. People are going to have to download the slicer on their own correctly. You're not even going to have it included, which I still don't, because it's still based on Cura, so I don't think so. I know he owns a black belt. I didn't know that. His problem is I don't. He likes to do the not specialty. He's really good at the. He's more in the mass market hobbyist, where the belt printer is borderline above hobby grade affordability. Where if you in printed solid can make a lesser expensive one, if you can keep it in the $1,000 range, then you're back into that hobby grade slash anybody can afford it kind of range, even though that's still pricey. You go over $1,000. I think Prusa likes to keep everything under $1,000. He's in that hobby grade price range. If you ever notice that, none of his printers go over $1,000 anymore. Yeah, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me at all if he hasn't already. It's just haven't it wasn't a priority, and it's probably not 100% there. And but it wouldn't surprise me if he's already coded up a version of Slicer for his. Oh, I can't imagine he actually uses it all that much. I think I'll have a little more. This is weird rum. It's not bad. Pirate. See that, or is it all bleached out? I like my other rum better, but I have this, and I didn't have to go driving. I bought another bottle. If you weren't here earlier, I stopped at my local wine shop. There's literally a wine store between me and where my father's being held in prison, as he says. It's a wine shop. It's not a regular package store. He's 99.9% wine, but he does carry like some rums and some exotic vodkas. He's got like one bottle of Absolute and one or two of the Bacardis, and he does have a couple, three of like exotics, but he doesn't carry much hard alcohol or even beer. He's got a small refrigerator of beer, and that's it. It's a wine shop. But anyways, I grabbed this on the way home because I wanted a rum and coke, and I'm out of my rum. I didn't want to go driving around the other side of town because it's one direction, it's the other, blah, blah, blah. I said, I'll just hit him up and whatever he's got for rum, I'll get the little bottle. Excuse me, Coke burp. So I grabbed this on the way home, and like halfway home, I'm like, I think I got a bottle of that somewhere. So I got home and I started digging through all the closets and cabinets, and sure enough, I had a bottle. So I didn't really need to buy this one because that's more than enough for me. I will get a real bottle of rum, but I'll drink it. It's not bad. I don't drink that much anyways. Yeah, I drink more on these streams than I do normally. I come on here and drink. Yeah, that's probably hopeful thinking. But you never know. I mean, the guy's kind of secretive, but he's not. He's pretty open about what he does. I think his biggest problem, I think, is he comes up with a brilliant idea, or one of his guys does, and he really pushes it and investigates it and pushes it out really fast. He does a little bit of beta testing, but he only does like a dozen or two people that beta test for him. And I think he needs to do a larger beta. I don't know if you notice, pretty much every product he puts out, the first like 6 months, there's major issues with. Pretty much with everything. And it's because you go out and it's like anything. You go out in the mass market after beta testing. You beta test with a limited quality of people. Usually they're very technically sound set mindset. So they know what they're doing. So even though the little issues, they kind of just click and figure out themselves and don't even think about it. Where when you go out to mass market, you get a bunch of people like me who, may know one thing really well, mechanicals, but when it comes to the softwares and all that crap, yeah, the Microsoft model, someone like me, the mechanical stuff, like, honestly, I think the MMU, everyone's having all these problems with, and it seems to be more mechanical than anything, I'd probably have no problem with. If it's software and adjustments and settings and tweakings, that's when I'd get screwed up and say, screw that, and throw the thing in the trash. But then you get the person on the other side that'll sit there and tweak it all day long and can play with settings and software and, go in there and code things and write scripts and do all that crap and have no problems doing all that. But then, one gear slips and they can't figure out how to fix it. So, you get that mass production, when you hit mass population, you get such a variety of people that issues that are there but really aren't are there because you're hitting the mass populace, and some people get it and some people don't, and some people get this and some people get that, and nobody necessarily gets everything. That makes sense. You always have problems when you hit mass production. For when you got mass production from, single unit short term production. So you always have issues in manufacturing at that point. It's a little stronger. It is weird stuff. It's got like a funny aftertaste. It's not terrible. It's almost 9 o'clock. So anyway, should I pull apart my PlayStation and yank the hard drive out of it? I think I should. Since it's right here somewhere. Did I bring it in? I thought I brought it up here. I did. PlayStation. And I believe it's quite simple, if I remember correctly. I've had it out of here once. I can't remember how to do it. So we're going from 3D printing to PlayStation. If I remember correctly, I just gotta grab this thing and pry this out. Oh, there's that part. Don't much care if I break it. And I just pull on this thing. And the hard drive's out. That was easy. Yeah, I mean, it's a 1 terabyte drive. Might as well use it. I don't think the drive's a problem. I'll find out in a minute because I'll hook it up to the computer and see if it boots into my computer. What we got for screws here? Some little Phillips head ones. We'll use this here little thing. Came with my quadcopters, which looks like the perfect screwdriver. And they're tight enough. Yep, I think that PlayStation is toast. Not even that old. It's only like a year and a half old. My cousin's talking about buying me another one. I'm like, dude, no, you just bought me this one. You just bought this for me for Christmas 2 years ago. He actually got it for me for Thanksgiving because they were on the big Thanksgiving Day sales. And he just sold his house. And long story short, he bought a house with his wife, got divorced. His wife said, see ya, and just up and left. He ended up with the house. She signed everything over, thinking it wasn't worth it. And they bought it for like $130,000 in the middle of Seattle. Something like that. I don't know the exact figure, but it wasn't. It's a little itty bitty ranch. It's not even a raised ranch. It's a little ranch with 2 bedrooms. It's got like an acre yard or a half acre yard. I mean, it's nice. It's in the middle of Seattle, Washington. So he's like, screw it. I'll put it up on a market. He's figuring he's basically going to break even because he'd only had it like 5-6 years. Sold it for like $280,000. His wife signed off on it, and so he ended up walking, I believe he said, for more than what he paid for it, because the market value in that area has gone up. I guess Seattle, Washington, since then has turned into a, geek mecca. It's turned into the new Silicon Valley, so it's a big area. So he made a bunch of money off the house. I mean, by all said and done, I don't think he made an actual $100,000, but still, it's a good chunk of change considering he just, had a house and he lived in it and paid the mortgage and blah, blah, blah. So he bought me a PlayStation because when he first bought the house, he was in dire straits. So it was homeless shithole. Now, Mr. Lightspeed, you're not supposed to swear on my, no swearing. I'm going to leave that blocked. Retype that. I'm trying to keep this child friendly. Did you live there all your life? Yeah, he doesn't. He just bought a big piece of property outside. That's the other thing. His house was, I think he said 15 miles from his job. And it took him 45 minutes to get there. He is now 45 minutes from his job, or 45 miles from his job, and it takes him like 20 minutes to get there because he's outside. He lives up in he bought property up in the mountains, and he just moved up there. He bought it a while ago, but he bought a little one of them micro houses, the trailer house. It's basically a trailer, but it's a house, micro houses. He's moving that up there, but the property he bought, he didn't realize had a house on it. I'll let that one slide. So that one's good enough. I don't know why it blocked that. Yeah, if you get outside the city, I hear it's really. I mean, he's showing me pictures of his property. He bought like 25 acres. Yeah, well, welcome. Same here. Connecticut's turning into a pet. Connecticut used to be a high-end, really nice place. Now I think it has. I think there's 3 of the worst cities in the country. The top 100 worst cities in the country. Three of them are here in Connecticut. I think Bridgeport, Hartford, Bridgeport. I know is in the worst. It's in the top 10 of worst cities. Bridgeport, New Haven, and Hartford. I think, or not Hartford. Not stores. What's that real nasty? I want to say Wyndham, but it's not Wyndham. Anyways, there's 3 really bad like crackhead cities here. Now I gotta remember what city it is because I had to look. I gotta look it up now because I know what it is and I just can't think of what the hell the name of the town is. It's like the worst crack city in New England. Pretty sure it's a WE one. Hartford, Stanford, Bridgeport, Norwalk, Danbury. Danbury is a pit. Everyone thinks it's such a great. Same with Greenwich. Everyone thinks Greenwich is so great. New Britain, Hannum, Sheldon, Enfield. Where is it? Not Windsor. Oh, darn it. No, I can't remember. Waterbury's not that great here in Connecticut either. It's kind of a pit. Franklin, Sprague, Scotland. Where is it? Bolton. You guys probably know about it. It's always in the news. Oh, it's probably not nationwide news. There's always people killing each other and crap. I think it's Wallingford. Is that it? Yeah, it's not it. I don't think. Might be. I can't remember. Anyway, it's like the crack central of New England. Connecticut, when I was growing up, was one of the best states to live in. It's in like the top 5. Now we're in the bottom 5, I think. Anyway, I have a 1 terabyte hard drive now. I will have to put it in a case. Oh, what do I have for cases? I have an empty case. Can you tell I have a whole bunch of hard drives? These are all old Mac 320s from real old computers. Yep, it's got a drive in it. What did it have for a drive in it? That's a 1 terabyte. What did that come out of? Oh, that came out of this computer. I just thought of that. The only difference is I put another 1 terabyte in there, but this is an SSD half hybrid. I don't have a screw for it, but you know what? I'm over it. Are you guys over it? All I'm going to do is fire it up and see if it runs. Is there a drive in here? Yeah, there's one of the 320s in there. So I have 2 1 terabyte drives and 2 320s. I think I'm going to assist her to make a raid out of the 2 320s for quick transfer drive. That makes sense. What do you call it? And I need a regular AA cable. Not a micro. Let's see what I got for cables. I know I got one because I just had it in my hand. It's an A male and a female. And it's an A to a B. It's a cut one. I just had one in my hand earlier. And a micro. I rolled it up. There we go. That's what I need. Anybody still using Firewire 400 or 800? This is a really nice LaCie case, but it's an old Firewire one. It does do USB, and it does, I don't remember what they call that, eSCSI or something, but it has both Firewire 400 and 800, USB 2, and E something I think they used to call it that never took off, but it's like $100 case when I bought it. Nothing in it. Let us see if this drive winds up. Okay, am I putting that in upside down? I think so. Oh, must have, because it lit right up. Share screen. Share everything. Let's initialize that drive. One terabyte. That's my hybrid. Why is it trying to screw with that? External. Which one is this? I don't know which one it is. I think it's that one right there. I'm just disconnected. Something should pop up. What's up, Kit? What's this one? Initialize. This thing right here. 1 terabyte. All kinds of crap on it. What does it say it's on it? Cancel. Is it showing up? Not showing up here yet. Erase. We'll make a macOS journaled. Don't care about case sensitive. Yeah, sure. hot. It's been kind of warm here. We actually have been getting warm weather. Yesterday was screaming hot. Today was actually cool, more because it was warm, but it was for here. But it was kind of cool because it was wicked windy all day, so it kept the temperature feel down. Because it was, I wouldn't even call it breezy. It was downright windy today here. Blinking away. Process complete. Done. Let's check it out and see what it's like. This is not actually what I wanted, but quit that. Rename it. PS4 drive. Since that's what it was. And it's showing up on the desktop. And it is showing get info. It's showing everything clean and good. Capacity 999.86, and I can use 999.2. Used 60 billion freaking million bytes. 663.7 megabytes on disk. Actually, a lot for a blank disk, but sure, whatever. Yes, if it was July, August. Where are you at? Kit? So that was easy. And the drive's good. So the PlayStation itself is dead, not the drive, because the drive's working just beautiful. Oh, you're a Floridian? You're down there with Glenn and Walter and all them Floridians? Floridator. No summer. It's always summer down there. It's never anything but summer. What I consider winter is your winter is my spring. You go from summer to spring and back to summer again. You got like 9 months of summer and 3 months of spring and fall. Uh, I used to live in Miami. I lived in Miami for a year and a half. And I've been down to the Keys a lot. And I will say, I visited like Orlando and Upper Florida. I actually find lower like Miami, Fort Lauderdale. I stayed in Fort Lauderdale a lot. Miami and the Keys are actually feel cooler, even though the temperature's higher, because you always have that sea breeze. There's always airflow there. I was way more comfortable in Florida, in Miami at 90 degrees than I ever was in Orlando at 75. It's just less humid. I mean, it's still humid, don't get me wrong, but the humidity is just not as, it gets gnarly inland. When you get, halfway up the state and you start going inland, it's just nasty humidity there. Yeah. Yeah, Florida is different. I liked it there in a way. It was kind of I drank and did too many drugs down there because that was like the thing to do. I just needed. I got out. I was like, I did that for a year and a half, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna end up dead. Drank a lot of booze and snorted a lot of coke when I was living in Florida, Miami. Also Miami. When I went to the Keys and stuff, it wasn't so bad. You'd think it would be worse than the Keys. It really isn't. At least the people I've hung out with were as bad. Cool summer, hell on earth summer, and then back to cool summer. Yeah, that's about it. You're right, Michael. That is about covering it. Yes, sirree, Bob. How many people are even in here? You know, that's the only thing weird is my tablet doesn't tell me how many people are on here. Not that it really matters, I guess. Actually, I can do the pop out of the chat, and it should tell me, shouldn't it? Not that that's ever accurate. Participants. It's only showing 3 of you. I know there's more because Mac's still here, unless he's left. You still here, Carl? I don't know why you would be. I'm boring. I'm about ready to hit the road. 5? Yeah. That's funny thing. Hey, check it out here. Come on. I don't know why it does that. Screen share, share. Everyone's like, oh, you can use the participants in the pop out. Look what it says. Participants. It just shows me, Kit, and Michael. That's fucking useless. Yeah, it's pretty much freaking useless. Yeah, but one Raz was talking. Knack was talking. Carl. It doesn't even do that. Steven was here. Lightspeed. Who else? 3D Medic. Jake. I mean, I'm sure some of these. Paul was here. I mean, I'm sure some of them come and gone and hung out for 5 minutes in Bolton. Yeah, see, but you're active in chat. Oops. And it's still not showing you. And you just chatted, and it's not showing you. My timestamp back. Manage moderators. I think you guys all are moderators, aren't you? Look at all my moderators. Oh, TK. I haven't seen TK in a long time. I forgot all about TK. He used to come on and hang out with me. That's bizarre. Never even looked at that before. Yeah. Well, you've posted a few times, and it's still not showing you. It's just showing me, Kit, and Michael. That's all it's showing. Oops, I just got rid of the frickin' thing, you dumbass. New tab. YouTube. Me live. New tab. Mute myself. Who wants to hear me? Let's try it if I do it right inside there. Participants. Oh, showing 4 now. And one of them is me watching myself. Anyway, on that note, we BS'd about Slicer and ripped the hard drive out of my PlayStation and got it running. I think I need a better case for it. That case is a piece of junk, cheapo, friggin' $5 thing off of eBay. But it works. guess. No, it doesn't. It just freaked it out by touching it. Anyway, I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna watch some boob tube. I do like my freaking desktop though. This is really cool. I was talking about this earlier before anybody was even here. I'm gonna show it to you guys now. And I think there's a Windows version of this too, even though this is a Mac thing. There's these things that Mac, they've had it for a while. I just never played with it. It's called Dynamic Desktop, and it's usually like mountains and it changes. As the day goes on, it as the sun rises, it brightens, and as the day goes on, it gets really really bright. And as the sun sets, it gets dark, and then at nighttime, like the stars come out, and they're all real life pictures. They're like a 24-hour loop of like a mountain range, or one of them. I know the Apple stock one is like um one of the mountains in Yellowstone and a few other things. But I downloaded the ISS International Space Station plugin for it. So this is a live feed off the space station, and it updates. I think it updates like every 5 or 10 minutes. It's just a still image. It just every 5 or 10 minutes it changes. So this is a real time image within 5 minutes of what the space station's looking at. What's up, Sean? Didn't know you were in here. No, my nose is bothering me because of the pollen and springtime and allergies. My throat's I got gunkies in my throat from it. That's why I actually start drinking, because rum actually helps it. I'm just getting tired now too. It's been a long day. But yeah, this is the PlayStation. Yeah, this is the PlayStation view. This is the ISS view. I think that's pretty freaking cool. So yeah, I want to bolt out. Time is it? 20 after. 18 after. Yep, gonna kill it. Later, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, who's still here? Anybody still here? Do you have one other thing I was gonna push? As most of you probably know, let me go to my share desktop. Share. I have been parent sitting. My mother's basically a cripple and can't do much on her own. I mean, she gets around and blah blah blah, but she needs care. She needs help, which that's been years. But my father did it. Well, my father got really really sick about a month ago, so I'm having to take care of both of them. Can't really work because I'm at the rest home 2-3 times a day, if not more, for an hour or two, plus back here, plus do laundry for the both of them, and dishes, and feeding them, and blah, blah, blah. My father's now been in the hospital 3 times. Finally, this last time coming out of the hospital, he said, nope, can't bring him home. So we put him in a rest home. Rehabilitation, which he's getting better, but he's not too happy. Anyways, I'm bouncing back and forth, and I can't really work. I'm getting to the end of my savings. So I was gonna beg for money, do like a Patreon or something, but I hate that. It just, I don't know, it just seems low life-ish. So what I did is I made a t-shirt design. I'm gonna try and sell some t-shirts. Let's see if I can even remember where the hell it is now. Let's see. Oh, Lightspeed retweeted it. Oh crap! I can't remember where the hell I put them now. Oh, here we go. This will do it. I did this cool t-shirt. If you haven't seen this, the ultimate 3D printing office. Come on, you gotta admit that's pretty cool. So I put them up for sale for $17.50. It's on what the hell's the name of this place? Teespring. That's what it is. No, it took me a second to think about it. Anyway, you want to help me out instead of just giving me money, which I freaking hate. I hate feeling like a charity case. You could buy a cool T-shirt, and I actually have like my own logo T-shirts I threw up there too. Not that anyone wants any of that crap, but there's all kinds, and you can buy them all kinds of colors. Go on, pop up now. You can get them in all these different colors and shapes and sizes. And wow, that's kind of a bright green. I love this orange. Look at that orange. Does that like hurt your eyes, burn your retina, freaking orange, or what? Anyway, it's there. I will throw a link into the chat real quick if anyone is even slightly interested. You can buy a tea and help me out so I don't have to go back to work and put both of my parents in a home. Trying to just keep one not in a home. I'm hoping my father will get better and get out. It's not looking great, but not looking impossible either. Anyway, there's that. I did my sales pitch. I'm done. You can tell I'm not real good at sales pitch anymore. It's funny, I used to do sales and now I just have no desire. But yeah, I actually thought of that. I watched John Oliver. What? Oh yes, it was about cadavers and medical investigations and all that. I watched that show on occasion. I kind of want this sweatshirt myself. It only comes in that green, which is weird. I don't think I selected green. I mean, it's not a bad green, but with my logo, it looks kind of funky. I'd rather almost have like the heather gray, but I don't really want a hoodie unless it's a zip or a button front. And why do these all get colors? That's not bad. I think you can see it because I am not broadcasting the page, am I? Anyway, on that note, it's time to go. I'm sure all you guys have left already. So I'm off. Go buy a t-shirt. I'm trying. Killing it. 25 after. Good enough. I was going to try and milk it until 9:30, but why bother? All right, later, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great night.